All right, good morning, guys. It is Saturday, September 20th, and it's been a couple days since I put a video out. I had a had a bunch of distractions, was not able to get to a video, but that's okay. I'm gonna try to keep getting a video out every day. Hopefully, that won't happen too often that I can't get one out. Today's video, though, is going to be an experiment of such. I took a bunch of pictures of the Age of Sigmar game I played on Thursday night game night, and I'm just going to kind of do a recap of it. One, just kind of to experiment with this format to see if it's anywhere decent. Also, just to practice taking photos of the game at regular intervals so I can do tournament recaps. And, just to help myself practice for tournament recaps when I make the video. Sort of to get my thoughts across concisely and to talk about the major moves on the board and stuff like that. So I figured a Thursday night game would be good for that. And this game actually ended up being very close, so it's an exciting game to do in this format. So that's what you're going to see today. Probably that will be the video today, so it'll be a shorter one. I got a bunch of photos, so maybe not that short, but single topic for today, and then tomorrow we will do some actual hobbying, probably maybe a painting tutorial tomorrow. I'm not quite sure yet, but for now, let's get into the post-battle report, I suppose. Alrighty, so for this game we played Bountiful Equinox. As you can see right here, this is what you have to do. It's pretty simple. You got to hold one of the different pairs, and then you have to hold the one in the middle to get max points, essentially. And then the underdog bonus is you get to heal on an objective, although it does heal both you and your opponent, so that can get kind of spicy. I had originally planned to play ogres for this game. Unfortunately, I forgot until about 20 minutes before I had to leave for this game that my ogres are still in a sort of semi-broken state. A bunch of the models are off their bases from when I had the shelf collapse. That was the only army, thankfully, that was on that shelf. But yeah, so I ended up playing Seraphon, or Lizardmen, because they were on top. They were on the very top of the bookshelf, and I could just grab them and go. I did have to throw the Regiment of Renown Mega Gargant in this list, because I used to run this list back in 3rd edition with the Dreadmaw, which is the old Forge World, one of the old Forge World monsters. The Legends, or Monstrous Arcanum, I think the supplement used to be called. And it had Legends rules back in 3rd, but then now it has no rules. So I had to substitute the Dreadmaw I had to substitute in Bundo for the Dreadmaw. So here's our deployment. I was playing against a Skaven player, and my list was the Scourge of Ghyran Carnosaur, as you can see right there in the middle. Then I had the Scarvet on Agradon and 3 Agradon Lancers with him. He had the enhancement to give them +2 movement, so that's why they're all right there in the middle. I also chose the army bonus to give myself +2 to move. Then I have a unit of skinks on this pyramid. We were playing on this game board here that was accidentally rather thematic for the Lizardmen. Like I said, I had originally planned to play ogres on this board, but nonetheless, it worked out. So you have a unit of 20 skinks. This small pyramid down on the bottom right here is an objective. We just used it as an objective in this mission. Then on the far right, I have a unit of 3 Kroxigor. Then Bundo is hiding behind the trees to the left of the Carnosaur. And then I have a unit of 20 Saurus Warriors and a Astrolith Bearer over on the far left objective. So the only thing that happened in my hero phase was that my opponent used countercast to put out the Pendulum. I have no wizards in this list, so I had nothing to do. So then here's the board, or the center of the board. After my first movement phase, I didn't run, I just moved Bundo up onto that objective, the Carnosaur forward, and the Lancers and Scarvet forward. During this game, I was attempting to play it exactly how I used to play it in 3.0, which was the Skinks and the Saurus Warriors stay back on objectives, The Carnosaur, the Scarvet, the Lancers, and the Dreadmaw, but now Bundo, just scream their way up the middle and try to smash as much stuff as possible as fast as possible, hoping that that will either cripple the opponent's army or demoralize them or like make them have to panic basically to try to figure out how to solve this problem and hypothetically split their army in half, so they have to sort of make some decisions about what they're going to do. Then with the Saurus Warriors on the left, they can be the counterpunch onto my opponent's right flank if they weaken the right to support the center that just got smashed. On the right, just off the screen of this photo, are the Croxigor, which can do the same thing to their left flank if they weaken their left to support their center. So that was the idea. I wasn't sure if it was going to work out that way. In 4.0, this is the first time I'm playing this army in 4.0, but that was the goal going in. And then, of course, the skinks are there to just be skinks and run around and shoot stuff. So then here is the board after my first turn. Bundo and the Carnosaur wiped out almost to a man the Storm Vermin there in the center. And then my Scarvet and Agrodon Lancers killed a unit of 20 Clan Rats. And then, like I said, the other stuff is just kind of holding, waiting to see what the opponent does. Here's a better view of the center there. You can see those last couple Storm Vermin hanging on for dear life. So then here is the board after my opponent's first movement phase. He retreated his Clan Rats away from Bundo, and he moved his Rat Ogres around to charge into my Scarvet and Lancers. You can see a better shot of that here. And then he's got his Rattling Guns and Abomination thing, I forget what that thing's called, ready to shoot, and then the Abomination is also going to charge in. Alright, so then here is the end of the board state at the end of his turn. As you can see, the Scarvet and most of the Agrodon Lancers are dead. There's just the one left. He has, I believe, 1 wound left. Yeah, you can see it here. He's got 2 rage tokens there and 1 health left. So those are almost cleaned up, and the Carnosaur is gone. He had quite a good shooting phase and then a pretty good combat phase as well. So it's now just down to Bundo in the center to see if he can hold on to that. So on to turn 2, we rolled for priority. My opponent actually won priority, but did not want to make me the underdog that quickly. And he didn't think that he didn't want to give up the chance to score secondaries on this turn. So he gave me the turn. I moved up with my Saurus Warriors on the left there. He hadn't really weakened his right flank at all, but with how much of my stuff died on his turn 1 in the center, I figured I need to start pushing the flanks pretty hard to make sure that I don't get completely overrun. So they move forward, and then the Croxigors on the right also move forward to countercharge into, well, not countercharge the command point ability, but countercharge in the sense that the ogres have charged, the rat ogres have charged in and done a bunch of damage. Now we need to go into them and try to do a bunch of damage back. And then Bundo, just being Bundo, holding on to the center there. Alright, so then in my shooting phase, the Skinks managed to shoot the gnaw hole that came on the board at the start of the battle round. Managed to get rid of that, so that secured my backline for a little bit. And I didn't really have any other shooting. Bundo threw a rock and probably did nothing, as is usual. So then, here's the board at the end of my turn. The Saurus Warriors have gone in, and they killed a bunch of the Clan Rats, and the Rat Machine Gun, whatever that thing is called. No, actually, come to think of it, the Rat Machine Gun killed itself on the Overwatch, or on the Countershoot, rather. Yes, that's right. Then the Saurus Warriors charged in, killed a bunch of the Clan Rats, didn't quite finish them off, though. And then the Croxigor charged into the Rat Ogres and almost wiped them, or did wipe them? Yes, they did wipe them. The Rat Ogres took a little bit of damage from the initial charge, but then and a rock from Bundo, I believe, but then the Croxigors were able to clean them up to the man. And then here's a nice shot of Bundo being Bundo, holding the center like a hero. So then into my opponent's turn. As you can see, he one of his abilities, Skitter Leap, I think that ability is called. He Skitter Leaped his Rattling Guns onto the center objective to take that from me, and then his Clan Rats up in the top left retreated, and we've still got the Abomination thing versus Bundo here in the top, and then he's got a couple characters supporting also. So Bundo and the Abomination fought. Nothing came of it, though. On my turn, I moved the Skinks forward to try to deal with the Rattling Guns. He redeployed them away from me, which was a smart decision. And then the Kroxigor moved onto his left flank objective to try to help with the Abomination. And then the Saurus Warriors prepared to charge back into the Clan Rats. So then here is the board at the end of that turn. I failed my charge with the Skinks. I wiped the Clan Rats completely, and I wiped the Abomination with the Kroxigors. So at this point, I have pretty decent board control. There is a gnaw hole down in the bottom right, as you saw, that was put there at the beginning of Battle Round 3. But in terms of board control, the Lizards have pretty much taken it completely. Bundo is still alive. And both the home objectives have been taken. There are a couple Skaven characters bopping around back there, but they're not going to be able to stop 3 full health Kroxigors and a Mega Gargant. The Mega Gargant is significantly hurt right now. He's down to like 8 wounds or something. But again, there's not really a lot they're going to be able to do. They might kill the Mega Gargant, but then there's still 3 Kroxigor. And there's still 16 Saurus Warriors left at this point. And then the Skinks are going to clean up the Rattling Guns. So at this point, the game pretty much starts winding down. We played one more turn, but then decided to call it. There wasn't really anything that the Skaven player was going to be able to do to get back into this game. If we had gone another turn, so we ended the game here. The Lizards had won 38-33. If we had continued, it probably would have been, I think realistically, he probably would have gotten depending on who won the thing, he might have been able to get 5 or 10 more points. And then I probably would have gotten about 25 more points. So it was going to be, it would start moving in the direction of a blowout if we continued. The Mega Gargant in the center basically just won the game for me. He's a distraction Carnifex in the sense that your opponent sees him and really wants to deal with him, but he's not a distraction Carnifex in the sense that he'll go in and smash stuff. So when I think of distraction Carnifex, I think of something that looks really fancy, but isn't actually all that worth anything. Whereas the Mega Gargant is like, will get your opponent's attention and will go in and pick up models. So it's kind of the best of both worlds there. So with him still alive at the end of round 3, that's going to be the Skaven player's in a rough spot after that. But overall, it was an excellent game. Had a ton of fun. This was my first time playing the Seraphon in 4.0, and it was my opponent's first time playing Skaven at all, I believe, 4.0 or otherwise. So good learning game for both of us, and a fun game. Great opponent. I play with this opponent quite a lot, and 10 out of 10 would play again. We're playing next week as part of the Death Wizards campaign, week 2. But that will do it for this video. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. If you enjoyed the video, I would encourage you to hit the like button. If you really enjoyed the video, I would encourage you to comment below saying you did. I'm probably going to keep doing this video, not every Thursday, but every now and again, just to hone the muscles of doing the tournament after action reports. This is obviously easier because it's only one game, but for those tournament after action reports, I really need to get good at taking photos of the moments that matter, and then, being concise here and not just rambling on and on about different things in the game. So I'm going to keep doing these to help me practice for what I view as the more important videos of the tournament after action reports. But like I said, thank you everybody for watching. If you enjoyed it, please comment below, like the video, and I will see you tomorrow.